AV1 is here. We start to see it in actual production applications when using WebRTC. This is a new codec generation that came to us for video, and it's time to talk a little bit about video codec generations and how they affect WebRTC and your decision-making processes. So we have three codec generations in WebRTC in general. Before WebRTC, we had H.261 and H.263. These are old video codecs that are no longer with us, or they are, but not really used. These are codecs that were royalty-bearing. It meant that if you use them, you had to pay for their patents. When WebRTC came out, it started with two mandatory to implement codecs. These were VP8 and H.264. H.264, again, a royalty-bearing codec, and VP8, a royalty-free codec. You didn't have to pay for using VP8. Many of the applications until today are still using VP8 or H.264 for WebRTC. The next video codec generation that we saw was VP9 and HEVC. VP9 started appearing in WebRTC at around 2019, and it has been more and more popular today. It is gaining popularity. Not that big yet, but it is there. You can find it in Google Meet, in Jitsi, and in other types of applications. The parallel for that, HEVC or H.265, is royalty-bearing and doesn't really exist in WebRTC yet. The code is there, but it hasn't been enabled. The next generation that we're now starting to see in production is AV1. It has been in code in WebRTC for a few years now, but I'd say that only today you will start seeing applications that use AV1 in production, usually for very specific use cases and very specific scenarios. Why is that? Or what do we do when we switch from one codec generation to another? So the question is, what do we want to do? Let's say that you're using VP9 today and you want to start using AV1. VP9 is going to take you less CPU than AV1 for the same resolution and bitrate that you want to achieve. On the bitrate side, though, if I use AV1 for comparable quality, I need less bitrate than I do for VP9. So now I have a decision to make. Do I simply reduce the bitrate that I'm going to use when I go to the next generation codec and maintain the current quality that I have? Or do I use the same amount of bitrate that I used up until now, but improve my quality of the video? Okay, improving the quality would mean that I need to use more CPU and more memory than I've used to for VP9. So this is a decision that we can make with each and every codec. This is also why today, when you see AV1, it will be used to gain comparable quality on very low bit rates. Or we will see it being used when the bitrate is very, very low, because then the CPU that it needs won't affect us that much. The higher the bitrate, the higher the CPU that AV1 would need, and the less devices that would be able to maintain that kind of quality with AV1. If you want to learn more about AV1, video codecs, and other things related to WebRTC, go check out WebRTCcourse.com. And if you want to test your application with VP9 or AV1, you can use testrtc.com. Thank you.